Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
From
Ready?
the Christmas family.
1, 2, 3.
Merry
Christmas.
Hey,
Hey, let's say Merry Christmas. 1, 2, 3.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Hoosier Daddy here. Thanks for joining me on this beautiful, wonderful Christmas day. Now, this is an extra special video because this is the final video in a series called Pass the Christmas Plate. So starting on December 1st, we have been doing a new video every day all the way up until today, which is Christmas. And it's been a big group of YouTube creators. We've been doing a different recipe every day, and everyone passes their plate to the next channel for the next day. So I will make sure to leave a playlist down in the description below so you can check out everybody's channel. There are 25 different channels that participated, and rather than try to list them all off, I will just have that playlist down there so you can check that at your leisure and see all the wonderful food that we've been making this month. So today's the final day. I got passed a plate from Big Dog Plate. I will leave his channel link down below in the description as well.
I'm passing my plate to Hoosier Daddy. Hoosier Daddy. You feel me?
He passed me a plate of fried turkey and smoked chipotle mac and cheese. Now, I've never fried a turkey before, but a couple of things: if you do decide to fry a turkey, it's a really great way to make your turkey fast, because it's a lot quicker than in the oven or on the smoker or on the grill. But it is a little more dangerous, so you have to be careful. So make sure you do your research and take all the proper precautions about keeping it away from your house, because there's over 4,300 property damage claims due to fires from people deep frying turkeys every year. So you don't want to be one of the statistics. Make sure you do it in a safe way. But if you do it, fried turkey is supposed to be really good. And the smoked chipotle mac and cheese sounds great too. So if you ever make mac and cheese, don't just do the box stuff. Do it in the oven, do a baked mac and cheese. That's what I did anyway. So let's try this out. Thank you. All right. So we got our fried turkey and our smoked chipotle mac and cheese. Wow, that is really good. If you ever get a chance to fry turkey, that's delicious. It's really moist and flavorful. Let's try this mac and cheese. That is really good too. I love smoke flavor in anything. If you get a chance to smoke anything, put it on a smoker, just add some smoke flavoring or something. Use smoked chipotle cheese. That's super tasty. So, Big Dog Plate, thank you for the food. This is really good. Now, since I'm the final day, I'm not passing my plate to anyone. But if you want to make any of the recipes in this playlist, in this Pass the Christmas Plate playlist, feel free to do that. Just make sure you tag the creator of that recipe. Whoever's YouTube channel that featured that recipe, make sure you let them know that you tried it. Likewise, if you try my recipe, let me know how it turned out and how you liked it. So, without further ado, the dish that I'm making for you today is Biscuits and Gravy. Howdy fellow foodie friends, today we are making one of my favorite dishes. It's Southern style biscuits and gravy, and we're doing it completely from scratch. And I promise you, it's not really all that much work, and it's definitely worth it. It's so much better than the canned biscuits, and scratch biscuits only take 3 ingredients: buttermilk, butter, and self-rising flour. That's it. And we're also making sausage gravy with a secret ingredient. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so like I said, you're only going to need 3 ingredients: butter, buttermilk, and self-rising flour. That's it. Now, the most important thing to do is make sure your butter is frozen. For this recipe, I used 2 sticks of butter, and I made sure to freeze them overnight. And then you're going to grate them with a cheese grater, just like this, into your bowl. And be careful, because that cheese grater can be sharp. You don't want to cut yourself. Now it's important to make sure that butter stays as cold as possible. That's why you freeze it ahead of time. But after you scoop it out of your cheese grater, if you want to put it back in the freezer for about 10 minutes or so, you can do that. You don't have to, but just as long as your butter is as cold as possible. You want those little succulent butter pieces to turn into delicious pockets of buttery flavor in your biscuits. And then next, you're going to want to add your self-rising flour. In this recipe, I added 5 cups. Now that may seem like a lot, but this recipe should probably make about 2 dozen biscuits. We have a big family, so I always make a lot. But if you want to cut it in half or even cut it into a quarter, that's fine. But for this recipe, it takes 2 sticks of butter and 5 cups of self-rising flour. Then you're just going to want to give it a quick little stir like so. And the next step is to add your buttermilk. Make sure to use buttermilk and not plain milk. If you don't have buttermilk, you can look up a recipe to make your own buttermilk with plain milk and vinegar, but real regular buttermilk is probably the best. It won't turn out right otherwise. And for this recipe, I used 2 cups. Next, you're going to want to stir all of that together. Now be careful not to overmix it. You don't want to overwork the dough. Just stir it enough until it's all barely combined. It's still going to look a little crumbly. It's not going to look like a typical dough yet, but that's okay. Just stir it until it's combined. Then you're going to dump your dough out onto a floured work surface, getting every little bit off the spoon. And you're going to start kneading it with your hand. If you have one of these little pastry cutters like this, that works really well. If not, you can just use your hands, but keep working the dough until it all comes together. Then it's time to get out your rolling pin and start rolling out the dough. Make sure your rolling pin is floured so it doesn't stick, but you're going to want to fold the dough and then roll it out again, and then fold it and then roll it out again, and do this process at least 4 or 5 times. That is what gives you all the nice buttery flaky layers in your biscuits. Okay, once you have your dough rolled out, it's time to cut out the biscuits. I just use a cup. You can use a biscuit cutter if you have one. But make sure you cut out as many biscuits as you can, and they should be about 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch thickness. They don't have to be real thick because they'll rise when they cook. But cut out as many biscuits as you can out of your dough. And you can take the scraps and roll those out and make more biscuits out of them until you're completely out of dough. And that's what your biscuits look like. I got about 20 out of this recipe. And into the oven they go on a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper at 475 degrees for 15 minutes. And when they come out of the oven looking all golden brown and yummy, you're going to make them look even better by using a pastry brush to brush some melted butter onto them. I brushed an entire stick of melted butter onto all 20 of my biscuits. Okay, now it's time to make our gravy. For this, I used a pound of breakfast sausage that I browned in a nice wide, deep pan. And then it's time to add our secret ingredient. The sausage has a little bit of grease, but we're going to add some more. We're going to add some bacon grease. Bacon grease is like liquid gold. If you don't save your bacon grease, you're doing something wrong. You always have to save your bacon grease. Now, honestly, I don't measure this. I just probably put a couple tablespoons in it. I just kind of eyeball it. Alright, once your sausage is completely cooked and browned all the way through, you shouldn't see any more pink. It's time to add your flour.
Now I just sprinkle flour in there. I don't really measure it. But if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably a quarter cup or a third of a cup of flour. But you really just want to put enough in there till it soaks up all the grease. You really shouldn't see any more wet spots from the grease. And then once you get all of that combined, it's time to add your milk. Now I don't measure this either. I just dump it in, but it's probably about 2.5 to 3 cups. You really just put in as much as you want to your liking, how thick or thin you're comfortable with. But you want to cook it at a high heat till it comes to a boil and keep stirring it. You can put your salt and pepper in now if you want, just salt and pepper to your liking. Those are the only spices you're going to need, just salt and pepper, and that's it. I like a lot of pepper. But just make sure to keep stirring it because you don't want to scorch that gravy. And once your gravy comes to a boil, you can turn it back down to a simmer and it should thicken it up nicely. And just keep on cooking it until it gets as thick as you like. Alright, now that our gravy and our biscuits are both done, it's time to plate them. So we're going to pull open one of these biscuits. Look at those nice flaky layers from where we folded the dough. That's delicious. So we're going to put that on the plate. Then we're going to get our gravy and we're just going to pour it right on top of those biscuits. And there you have it, made from scratch biscuits with homemade sausage gravy.
All right.
Howdy, fellow foodie friends.
Howdy, fellow foodie friends.
Howdy, fellow foodie friends.
Welcome to our table. This is my wife, Crystal, and my daughters, Emily and Bethany. So, what do y'all think of this biscuits and gravy?
10 out of 10.
So good. If you have the time to make these from scratch, so much better than canned
Worth
biscuits.
it. Best biscuits I've ever had in my life.
Me too.
So
And it's
good.
not biased because I hate my father. Absolutely correct.
So,
Those are big words for Christmas Day.
Them's fighting words.
oh my gosh. I love a little extra pepper on mine. This is so good.
He puts way too much pepper. It's too spicy that way.
I have to add it extra on my own plate.
Emily thinks milk is spicy.
No, I don't.
Okay, so since it is Christmas, I wanted to ask you guys, what is your favorite Christmas memory or Christmas tradition?
I know one of my least favorite memories, I can say.
The year when we all get
One
sick.
year, no, nobody else got sick. This was just me. One year we went to our grandparents' house for Christmas Eve, and my grandma or my mom. No, I think it was my mom. Did you make those black coal cookies?
Me and Dad.
She made coal cookies out of like marshmallow and Oreos, and I just kept eating them because they were so good. I just kept going back for more and more and more.
It was like Rice
And then-
Krispie treats made with Oreos.
Yeah. And then Christmas Eve night. Well, actually, it was the morning of Christmas Day. It was like 2 a.m. I woke up and I threw up like 5 times because I ate so many cookies. And then that morning, I woke up and Ben and Bethany were just standing over my bed, like waiting for me to wake up like this, like with sad looks on their faces. They're like, "Are you okay?"
They were worried about you.
Yeah. But I actually felt completely fine after.
You know, I don't even remember that.
I
It was
remember.
that was only 2 Christmases ago.
I remember one year. It was when I was young, like 10. Mama made double chocolate cookies that were like brown and
They're
like
the crinkle cookies.
crinkle cookies. Well, she made those, and I probably ate like 23 of them.
Apparently my
It
kids
was-
have no self-control when it comes to cookies.
It was, it was like the day after Christmas, or like 2 days after Christmas, was when we were spending it with my mom's side of the family, and I ate only those cookies that day, nothing else. And I ended up throwing up in the bathroom, and my puke was black because of the cookies.
That's how mine was when I grew up on Christmas Eve.
So I asked for your favorite Christmas memories, and you both tell puking stories.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's because those are funny Christmas memories.
They were really funny.
What about you, honey?
Well, now I feel like I have to come up with a throw-up story. Actually, there was another one that Bethany didn't tell.
Oh my gosh.
We had just gotten her new sheets and a blanket for her bed. And the first thing she did is sit down on her bed and throw up all over the sheet.
How old was I?
Maybe 5 or 6. We love getting sick on Christmas.
Apparently,
So much fun.
Well, my favorite memory was the year that we told the kids that we were not going to buy them Christmas presents, that we wanted to help out other kids, other families, needy families. So our church was sponsoring different families. So each one of our kids sponsored a family, and we went out shopping for those needy families and got specific like toys and clothes that were meant for those families. And we did tell the kids we would have stockings, right? We put little things in stockings, but that was all. That was going to be our Christmas because we wanted to help out other people. Well, Crystal and I didn't want to leave our kids with nothing, so we surprised them. Christmas morning, they weren't expecting anything. You remember what you guys got?
The Wii.
They got a Wii, yeah. That was really exciting. They played that thing every day after that. It was so nice, and that was all they got, but it was so nice
It was
because
awesome.
I don't like making Christmas all about buying presents all the time, you know? Make it about helping out other people, so it was still a fun little lesson that they learned and got a really nice present.
Uh-huh. I remember that because we were all like, no way. No, you did not.
Yeah.
But we played it so much.
That was so much fun.
It was like all day Christmas Day in our pajamas playing Wii all day. And then like all day the next week too, because you didn't go back to school for over a week.
Yep. And then we would bring our friends over and make knees for them. Sisters, there were never such devoted sisters.
So
what's your favorite Christmas movie?
So
wait, we never got to say our favorite Christmas memory.
Oh,
Movie.
you said your favorite Christmas memory was you puking.
No, that was one of the funniest.
Okay. Did you have something else you wanted to share?
I just remember every year, Ben wakes up first.
Always.
And then he runs into my room and jumps on my bed or does the steamroller and wakes me up. And then we both go upstairs and either scare Emily awake or shake her bed until she wakes up.
Yeah, and it's funny because Ben, if you look at our family, he seems the least excited about Christmas, even though he's very excited about it. But he seems the least excited about it. He's always the first one up, the first one ready to do everything. Then the first one, like, just like...
He's
excited,
20,
you
but
know?
he still acts like a little kid.
Yep.
He's always, yeah, you guys are always, like, up in my room and shake
At
me awake.
5 a.m.
Or you both do the steamroller on me and you're like, Emily, get up, it's Christmas!
Yeah, pretty much. So, I remember one year Ben woke up and I was already awake, but I knew Ben would come into my room soon. So I just sat up and waited for him to come into my room. And then he like opened the door and I just jumped out of bed and we both ran upstairs.
Yep, that was fun.
They've been on before on the
Yeah.
Hoosier channel.
So, thank you for joining us for this Pass the Plate collab. I hope you enjoyed our biscuits and gravy.
I
And
did.
I did too.
This is really fun. Really good food. And thank you again to everybody that participated in this collab. Remember, I will leave the playlist down below of everybody that participated. So you can go back and check out all those recipes. There's a lot of good food. Alright, well,
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
we hope you have a very Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
From
Ready?
the Christmas family.
1, 2, 3.
I'm
Merry
so glad
Christmas.
it's
Hey,
vacation.
let's say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. You don't want to scare people away.
Ding, dong,
And then you go,
ding, dong, ding. What? Like,
This night we were alive, we'll know.
You were supposed to keep going with yours. Fall on your knees.
Oh, hear the
somebody.
Oh, night divine.
If you couldn't tell already,
This guy.
who's got 2 thumbs and is ready for Christmas? Probably Santa Claus.
Good joke.
Santa lost
Okay.
one of his thumbs in the War of 1812.
Really?
This night, we our love will show.
Yeah.
Check it out, girls, and check it out for you.
We will see you all next time. Merry Christmas!
Merry
Everybody.
Christmas, Chrysler.
Bye.
Happy Christmas.
Merry
It's
Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry Chrysler.
It's made of vegetable juice.